Lenell is a pretty awesome person. She is the director of admissions at Southeastern Missouri State University, and she began her career at SEMO as an admissions counselor back in 2003. She served as an admissions web counselor, assistant director for communications, associate director for operations and communications, and associate director for recruitment. Since January 2013, she has been the director of admissions, and we are super lucky to have Lenell here. One awesome thing about Lenell that I want to tell you guys about, so I was actually talking with Lenell earlier last week in a meeting, and just a comment that she made and how she leads her team is just her bragging about how awesome her team is. So I'm always super privileged and super honored to be able to work with Lenell. So she's got some really amazing stuff for you on scholarships today, so I will give the floor to her so you don't have to listen to me talk anymore. So Lenell, it's all yours.
Thanks, Brendan. All right, so as Brendan said, I've been working in higher education for nearly 20 years. And I don't know if you picked up on it, but I was hired as an admissions web counselor at SEMO. And we did not have any mass emails that were going out. We didn't have a portal for prospective students. And so I got to build all of that in 2003 and really got to know our IT team really well. And it was great to start my career having allies within the IT department at the university, and those relationships have just strengthened over the last 20 years, and how we've been able to evolve and grow as an institution. And the way that families can engage with us has definitely been enhanced by our partnership with Element 451. And so I'm just going to give you all an insight into our use of the platform, on how we put our heads together at SEMO and at Element 451 on how we could use this platform to manage a competitive scholarship program for us. And it really is a beautiful thing. But before I get into that, I'll just give you a little bit more information about SEMO. So we were founded in 1873. We will be 150 years old March 22nd of next year, celebrating our sesquicentennial. Banners were just going up on campus, so making history is the tagline, and branding is really important to us as an institution. So everything we do, we have a phenomenal university marketing and communications department who really make sure that when we celebrate, it's very visual, whether it's through the electronic communication we're sending out or if someone's visiting campus. So when Zach was saying earlier, if it doesn't look good, they're gonna, just not even give it a second thought. We hope that as we're bringing visitors on campus, our campus looks good. They want to spend time with us. And we don't just have our main campus in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We have some other campuses. So we have 5 campuses. So we have our Cape Girardeau campus. We have a river campus dedicated to the visual and performing arts. We're the only university in Missouri with a campus dedicated to those programs. And then we have regional campuses in Kennett, Missouri, Sikeston, Missouri, and a delivery site in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. We have 170 academic programs. 40 of those are fully online degree opportunities. You can see we have nearly 10,000 students, and then the makeup of undergraduate, graduate, and those that are purely pursuing an online degree. So for us as an institution, investing in technology has always been very important. And we've tried to do it very strategically and collaboratively. So whenever we embarked upon making the decision to partner with Element 451, we called it a university CRM. We invited our campus community to be a part of the product demos, to have input as we made this selection, because this isn't a product that we just wanted our admissions department using or just university marketing and communications using. We want faculty engaging with students. We want our co-curricular areas, support areas, really leveraging the platform as we bring in new students. So you can see some of these investments in technology. So we do use Illusion Banner for our SIS. We did go with our first CRM in 2014, and we had an LMS purchase at that same time. We did a brand launch, a brand refresh. We've invested in retention software. Of course, our partnership with Element 451 and a new LMS in 2020. And then we just launched a brand new website last year as well. And ties in again with what Zach was saying earlier, just the importance of your website. And we have invested in our website many times in the 2 decades I've worked at the university, and was really excited for this most recent one because we knew that our website was such an essential piece of attracting students to our campus. So I want to ask this group, how many of you have made poor decisions in purchasing technology? And are you willing to share why it ended up being a poor decision?
Budget.
Okay, budget.
We bought what was advertised as a vanilla LMS and then customized it to no end. And from the beginning, it wasn't going to work. We buy something that's supposed to work, could be better, and then try to make it our own. It just from the beginning, honestly.
So he bought something that was supposed to work. Then he had to customize it extensively, and it sounds like probably still wasn't meeting your needs, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anyone else? Why was it a poor technology choice? Yes?
Implementation time from staff.
Implementation time, he said. Yes. Any others? Okay. Yes.
User interface is really poor.
Yes. Poor user interface. So I was a part of making a really poor technology investment choice in 2014. We entered a 5-year contract with a CRM that did not meet our needs. And that felt like the longest 5 years. And I see one of your Element team members here is a SEMO grad, and she's shaking her head because she worked within our campus visit program and used that CRM to help coordinate our campus tours, and it was difficult. So many of the things that you said, so poor customer experience, wasn't mobile responsive, off-brand, couldn't personalize it. Other things, lack of integration between platforms can be a poor investment choice. Access to data, the analytics information, results not being met. You've got a significant investment when you partner, and then when the goals aren't being met, that is not a good partnership. And then of course, not all of your needs being met. So it could result in you needing to add additional partner-vendor relationships just to meet all of your needs. So those were things that went into a bad investment for us. And then how many of you have made a good investment in technology? And then would you be willing to share why it was a good investment for you? Yes?
I think Element has helped us, this helps us take the customization, sometimes with a mess of our LMS, and help it make sense on the front end for students.
Yeah, so it was made to be flexible to meet your needs, right? So those customizations were intentional. So yeah. Anyone else? What made a good technology investment choice? Yes.
Just a CRM that completely revolutionized the way we interact with students, the speed that we're able to conduct business, organize things, and like work with other departments, especially remotely.
Yeah, so she said a system that revolutionized the way that they worked with students. That is powerful, right? And so yes, all of the things that you said, and having a relationship with someone who provides exceptional customer service, that made for such a win, right? Because you really are in partnership. And then having that forward-thinking vision, revolutionizing, and a platform that's rapidly adapting to really pivot your institution to be successful, not in the now, but in the future for sure. So for us, that smart investment was partnering with Element 451, and we just finished our 3rd year of our contract, and it feels just like yesterday, because it has been such a great experience. So how many of you have a number of vendor relationships that you're managing. I'm going to throw some numbers out there. So 1 to 3 vendor relationships that you're managing, just show of hands. And then as I keep going with the numbers, you can, raise them up. So I said 2 to 3 for the, or I said 1 to 3 for the first one, right? I saw a couple of hands. You probably all, so do you all partner with technology platforms, right? So everybody should have at least one. So then if you build upon that, sometimes at an institution, we may be managing relationships upwards to 15 different vendors. So for us, a really important aspect of our partnership with Element was it allowed us to eliminate 5 vendor partnerships that we had. We were able to eliminate our SMS partnership, our live chat, our email marketing platform, a forms platform we were using, and a survey platform. So 5 fewer vendors that we were partnering with because this platform had the ability to do so much to help us with engagement with our students. So we never dreamed that a platform could solve a competitive scholarship problem for us, but it did. And the other thing I didn't mention that I meant to mention on the last slide was how fast we were able to onboard this platform. So our previous CRM took us about 1.5 years. And we were promised it would be in under a year. But this took us 6 months to leverage and fully implement all of the modules within this CRM platform. And so you can see here in fall of 2019, I'm sure it's hard to read for you all, but we went test optional as an institution well before the pandemic. So we were test optional, but we still required a test score for our top competitive scholarship program, and that was a 31 on the ACT. So at that time, we were using about 4 vendor platforms to manage this scholarship program, and there was a lot of manual work that was being done to put everything together. But you can see it was a much smaller applicant pool. There were 75 applicants in the first year. We did on-campus personalized interviews of 67 finalists for that program. And then in fall of 20, it was very similar. Of course, the pandemic had hit before they started at the university, but by the scholarship deadline, that was pre-pandemic. And so having that test score component wasn't an impact for that scholarship program. We did transition to virtual interviews of course, so that was a change. So then in fall of 21, the big impact was we added test optional criteria of a 3.9 GPA. So our application spiked 235%, and we had 288 applicants. So the prior 2 years, basically anyone who applied, we were giving an interview. At this point, we needed to narrow these applicants down to the top 100 finalists to offer an interview for. So in the prior years, we were using a forms software that gave students the ability to upload a letter of recommendation, a resume, an essay, but they had to do it at that moment that they were submitting that application. It caused us to have duplicate applications, and a lot of people who are providing recommendation letters don't want the applicant to see their letter, and it didn't allow for that confidentiality as well. We were also then, of course, receiving emailed recommendation letters, so you had fragmented information and a variety of sources, and we were trying to bring everything together and create a PDF completed applicant file and put it into a OneDrive format to share with those who were scoring. So it took us 2 months in this first year where we had that 235% spike in applications to get scores compiled to identify the top 100 finalists to then offer those interviews. Then in fall of 22, that was when we transformed this selection process using the Element 451 platform. We reduced by 1 full month compiling scores to identify our finalists. And the Automagical part of it is that we didn't have to compile completed applicant files. Everything was contained within the Element 451 platform, which I'm going to show you here in the next few slides. And we were able to notify our recipients a month earlier than the year before. We also still saw a significant increase in applicants. For fall of 22, we saw 25%. So the big jump was when we went to test optional, but the even bigger jump was related to the way that we marketed and we promoted the scholarship program using the Element platform. Because while we only select 5 finalists, or 5 recipients, a very high percentage of our finalists enroll at Southeast. So we attract them to the university with a scholarship that a small number receive, but it's a way for us to court them. And we do provide a finalist scholarship as well, just for being a part of that search. Okay, so the solution. So I've kind of shared some of that solution, but again, just that Automagical part of everything being contained within the Element platform, from using the conversations module, communications, application decisions, and Element 451 events. So the next few slides, I really will dive in and kind of give you some visuals of what this looks like for us. So you can see here within the Element 451 communications and conversations module, you have where you can send email and SMS communication to promote the opportunity to apply for the scholarship. We used campaigns where we set up automated communication via a workflow. We also use the one-time communication area within Element and use templates that our marketing team have created for us. We even had our president in the bottom right-hand corner send an email, and when Zach talked earlier about having emails come from different individuals. So this email came from our president's email account to students to tie in that personalization of, as the president of SEMO, we want you to consider Southeast. We have this scholarship opportunity for you. And so that was just a part of the email series that went out to garner that increase in applicant pool to attract these students to the university. For this scholarship program, there's really 2 calls to action. So you'll see where we're able to put those buttons at the bottom. We also include them in steps within the email. So they need to apply for admission to Southeast by December 1st, as well as submit the supplemental President's Scholarship application by December 1st. And it does include an essay by the student, 2 letters of recommendation, and a resume as well. And then you can see there's analytics within the platform, so we could see performance of our emails and our SMS messages that were being sent, and then fully branded, right? As well as UTM tracking. So our marketing team does social, digital ad placement, and seeing where students are coming from as they come in and maybe apply for this scholarship program at the university. So all of that is trackable. Then the conversations piece of Element is where we can do that one-on-one communication with students, email, SMS, and we do partner with CoVideo where we can send personalized emails to students. And we use this platform, again, to promote and attract students to apply for the scholarship, as well as communicate with them throughout the scholarship selection process, and then ultimately communicate with them on the outcome of their selection within the scholarship program. So any questions related to conversations, communications? Okay. So then we have our Element 451 applications and decisions module. So this is where the Automagical really took place. This was the most important, essential, and critical change with this scholarship program. It replaced that forms software that we were using. It replaced us having documents emailed to us and being sent to a variety of people and being very fragmented and trying to bring the pieces of the application together. It eliminated the manual PDF, placing them in a OneDrive folder for material scores to access, and really put everything in one place. So we used the application module of Element to create a scholarship application portal. And so you can see the top left and the bottom left is the desktop versus the mobile version of starting that application. Then over on the bottom right is once they've created that account and started the application, you can see how there's such great information we can communicate with them and personalize within that application portal so they can clearly see the steps they need to complete. They can create an account and come back. So a lot of times with putting together an application where there's many pieces to it, you may not be able to do it in one setting. So that flexibility of starting and finishing later has been something that families have really appreciated. And again, it's eliminated duplicate applications being submitted when they submit it and then realize they needed to make a change or forgot to attach something or needed to add something back. So within here, they're able to upload their essay, their resume, and the really, really cool feature is they can put in an email address and a name of who they want to provide recommendation letters. And that recommender will receive an email saying, this student has asked for you to provide a recommendation letter for their scholarship application to Southeast Missouri State University. They are able to write that letter, respond back, uploading it to their application to allow confidentiality of that recommendation letter from the student, as well as it keeps everything in one location within that scholarship file. So that was just huge for us. And then you can also see where you've got that follow-up email. So up in the top right, so you can send them reminders to return to the application. Don't forget to complete it. So they've started it, they've created that account, and this is where we're nudging them to make sure that they do the other items to get that to be a complete application. And then once their application was complete, the deadline passed of December 1st, then we were able to use the decisions module within Element 451 to assign applications to reviewers to do that material scoring, and then ultimately select those top 100 finalists that we wanted to offer an interview to. The decision feature gave us transparency of what stage the students were in, whether they were a file incomplete or a file complete. We had a complete file but deemed they were ineligible to be considered. Interview offered, interviewed finalist, an alternate, and ultimately a recipient, using those decision stages within the platform. And then that last big solution for our competitive scholarship program within Element was the events module. So Element moved really quickly during the pandemic to add Zoom integration into the events platform. And of course, throughout the platform, you have mobile responsive features. You can see they can go and, of course, select their interview time. You've got those automated messages that you can build in to thank them for registering for an interview, reconfirm their interview date and time. The other beautiful thing is it gives them power at their fingertips to update their interview time if something changed, or maybe they need to cancel their registration, they can do that as well. So, they want things instantaneously. They want to have the control to not wait for an email to be returned or a phone call to be answered to make these adjustments, and this platform gives them that capability. And again, it's in that thank you for registering, that confirmation email, where they can make all of those adjustments and changes on their own. And then, of course, you have the ability to do your attendance tracking within the event as well. So it worked really beautifully for us. So I wanted to recap the positive outcomes for us here. So again, from fall of 20 to fall of 21, we had the new test optional criteria that increased our applications by 235%. And then from fall of 21 to fall of 22, our new engagement platform use of Element 451, we increased our applications by another 25%. And then from fall of 21 to 22, with that new application platform, we reduced our material scoring by 1 month. And then from fall of 21 to fall of 22, with the new event platform, we awarded scholarships 1 month earlier. So it really was pivotal for us to be able to think creatively, partner with Element to manage what was a very massive and time-consuming scholarship selection process, for it to have happened this last year with a breeze. I'm looking forward to the fall of 23 selection cycle, just knowing how great the experience is going to be, again, not just for our team managing internally, but the most important thing is our prospective student experience being exceptional. So a win on both sides, which is really great. Some other things I will share about outside of the scholarship program successes that Southeast has had. So we right now are measuring our success based on market share. So how are we performing within the market? So for us right now, headcount is not the best indicator, right? Headcount can be a challenge. So if you look at the market that we are recruiting within, and we can define success that way, that has been important to us. So for Southeast, we have seen significant market share increase for us. So we're a part of a 13 public 4-year community college environment in the state of Missouri. So we're one of 13 public 4 years. And we increased our market share for our freshman population to 9.5% for fall of 21. That number was 8.9 in fall of 20, and it was 8.5 in fall of 18 and fall of 19. For us, there are 2 state schools. So you've got University of Missouri, Mizzou, and you've got Missouri State. And then you have a set of regional comprehensive universities that typically have a geographic, so University of Central Missouri, Northwest, Missouri Southern, Missouri Western, Southeast. And so from a market share standpoint, we have the 3rd highest market share of the 13 public 4-year universities in Missouri. And you can see increasing on that market share. And we truly believe our partnership with Element 451 has enhanced our engagement with students. It has enhanced how we can showcase what we can offer to families, from academics to campus life to support. And it's not just for our traditional freshman recruitment. So again, you can see we have online, a significant number of online programs, graduate recruitment, transfers important for us, international. We're having a crazy year. Our international applications have skyrocketed. And we are looking to have 1,400 international students on our campus, making up about 12% of our population. And so we are leveraging this platform to work with every single population that we serve and having successes across the board. So it's been outstanding. We do not work with an enrollment service provider. We do not partner with an OPM. And we believe valuable relationships, like our relationship with Element 451, has given us a competitive edge within the state of Missouri, and have really led to some outstanding successes that we really want to build upon. So, all right, well, with that, we have plenty of time for questions. I did include my contact information up here as well, so entertain any questions that you have.